Is a short overview of Mexico's electoral system, which can get confusing at times, the way they get elected and the different districts and things like that. First off, we're going to talk about some electoral fraud and election fraud that they've had in the past. The PRI tended to throw their elections, and in 1988, everyone knew this. They said that a lot of the tabulation systems broke down. There was some reporting by phone. However, a few years later, Miguel de la Madrid admitted in his autobiography that the election was rigged to make the PRI win, and that 3 years after the election, all the ballots were burnt in order to remove all the evidence of that fraud. One of the things in 1994 as well, a candidate, Coalizo, was running as the PRI individual, and there's a lot of speculation that within the party there's some opposition. So there's a bunch of different individuals that were speaking out about different things, speaking about maybe government abuse or different communities. And at a rally in Tijuana, he was assassinated. The individual that shot him confessed, but many believe that it was kind of the government that kind of set this up. So if you look at this video here, look at the guy with the white suit. Watch him. All right, here he comes. All right, so PRI's domination is kind of their corporatist system. They limited representation. They limited the civil society. They created organizations to represent their interests and restricted any other organizations. Other people who were non-PRI supporters wanted a pluralist system where interest groups would take the role and they would compete, and there's competition, more political parties, more civil groups, but that did not happen under the PRI. PRI didn't really care what the Mexicans thought about the people and themselves, because they're a rentier state. They relied solely on the oil, and that kind of helped fund their government and themselves. But in 1996, the FEI, the Federal Electoral Institute, was created because of the fraud in 1988. It was independent, not really tied to the government, acted as a judge in all these electoral disputes to make it more free and fair. So more transparent. You had to register nationally. You had voter ID cards, and public funding for electoral campaigns is a strict limit. So on all the private organizations, so not too much money is playing a role in these elections. So their format for their federal government, they have 31 states. They have a federal district, kind of like D.C., but it's Mexico City. Again, they have that lower house, the Chamber of Deputies, based on representation. Upper house, Senate, 3 per state is more of a regional thing. People vote for the president, Chamber of Deputies, Senate, and other local and state officials. So the Chamber of Deputies has 300 individuals, single-member districts, plus the 200 proportional. So the distribution of seats to each state is based on population, kind of like our states. No state shall have less than 2, so every state has at least 2 representatives in the Chamber of Deputies. Then they have a proportion list. 5 multi-member districts are formed. So there's 5 districts in the country, 40 seats awarded to each multi-member district. Deputies now can run for re-election. They got rid of that Article 59. So, however, one political party cannot completely dominate because they can only have a max of 300 within the Chamber of Deputies. The Senate is a little bit different. They have 3 senators per state. The party with the most votes wins 2 Senate seats. The party that has the second most gets the 3rd seat. And there's 32 seats proportionally elected. So here's how it works. 3 senators are elected in each of the 32 states. For this purpose, the political parties must register a list with 2 formulas for their candidates. 2 of the seats are allocated through the relative majority principle, so the most. That is, they belong to the party that obtained the largest number of votes, and the third one is appointed through the first minority principle, that is, to the party that obtained the second largest amount of votes. Women play a role. Their political parties, there's a law that they must run at least 30% of the candidates must be women. They do make up 22.6% of the Chamber of Deputies, 17.2% in the Senate. And then here's a quick look at some election results. And if you look on the top here, like the Chamber of Deputies, there's a couple political parties that gained some seats through the proportional system, but did not gain any in the single member districts. And that's it.